She steadied her breath. The chamber shook as bullets screamed through the air. On the battlefield, a crimson rose bloomed. She was the legendary Soviet sniper, Lyudmila Pavlyuchenko. During her service, she took down 309 Nazis. She became a death-like figure in World War II. The enemy called her the goddess of death. As a student, Lyudmila already showed exceptional talent in shooting. The first time she held a rifle, she wanted to challenge the boys, but naturally, everyone saw her as a joke. People around her mocked her with harsh words. Yet she remained unmoved, with steady breath and determined eyes. Talent, after all, defies logic. After firing 5 rounds, everyone placed their rifles on the table. The instructor walked to the front and checked the targets. The unbelievable results left everyone stunned. She crushed all the boys with a score of 47 Marines. Born into a military family, Lyudmila was raised under strict discipline. It shaped her into a calm and composed person. Soon, Germany launched a full-scale invasion of the Soviet Union. The Great Patriotic War had begun. Lyudmila dropped out of school and enlisted. Her talent quickly caught the military's attention, and she was sent to an elite training camp. There, they had to forget their gender. Everything useless in war was to be burned away. To escape enemy pursuit, they had to learn to crawl even lower, even when their pants slipped down. Stopping was not an option. A top sniper needed extraordinary endurance. Sliding in sand, rolling in mud, it was all part of training a future long-term ambitions. But endurance alone wasn't enough to survive. Camouflage was their true lifeline. Every trainee used different tricks, yet all were killed by the instructor. It was never a fair test. Only Lyudmila remained undetected. They had to learn not just to hide, but to observe, where the instructor made everyone turn around and asked what had changed on the battlefield. Others only noticed vague differences, but Lyudmila gave a precise answer. She pointed out exactly how far a rock had moved. After 3 months of brutal training, they were finally allowed to touch real guns. When it was Lyudmila's turn to shoot, the major stood directly in front of the target. She warned him to step aside, but he told her to fire anyway. What seemed like a provocation was actually his greatest recognition. The instructor knew, well, Lyudmila was a once-in-a-century genius. He wanted to teach her everything he knew, but with the front lines under pressure, orders finally came down. Our recruits were to be deployed to the battlefield immediately. Lyudmila knew going to war meant killing the enemy, but she didn't yet understand the cruelty of the battlefield. On her very first mission, they encountered the most powerful weapon on land tanks. The captain said there were only 2 ways to deal with a tank. Either run up front and throw a grenade, or fire to armor-piercing rounds with a sniper rifle. The first shot would shatter the bulletproof glass of the viewing port, and the second would go through to kill the driver. She asked the captain for 3 armor-piercing rounds, but in the next second, German fighter planes swooped in. It was her first time in combat. None of the soldiers had ever faced anything like this. The battlefield was soon filled with screams. The cannon on the hilltop was also blown up, and Lyudmila was nearly crushed by the barrel. Shaken and dazed, she dropped her rifle in fear, but she quickly calmed herself down, set up her rifle, and shattered the bulletproof glass with 1 shot. But the very next second, a shell landed right in front of her. Her eardrums ruptured from the blast. She quickly tried to refocus. At that moment, a rookie rushed at the tank with grenades, only to be blown to pieces. Lyudmila seized the moment and took out the driver with a single shot. Then, she saw 2 German soldiers walking side by side, but couldn't bring herself to pull the trigger. When she saw the soldier drop beside him, she snapped out of it and shot the officers dead. After the battle ended, she collapsed into the trench. Unable to calm down, Makarov tossed her a flask, finally starting to see her in a new light. Back at the camp, the Major General praised Lyudmila in front of everyone and rewarded her with a brand new sniper rifle. In the days that followed, Makarov taught her many skills of a sniper. They fought side by side, leaning on each other for support. It wasn't long before they developed feelings for one another. Bold and passionate, Lyudmila took the initiative to kiss Makarov, but he firmly rejected her. The nation was still burning in flames. What did personal feelings matter? Hurt by the rejection, Lyudmila was visibly wounded. One day, Makarov tried to help her dig trenches, but she pushed him away. Out of nowhere, enemy shells suddenly rained down. Lyudmila was buried under a thick layer of soil. The captain frantically began digging, and after 5 long minutes, Makarov finally pulled her out. Lyudmila had narrowly escaped death. She was sent to a rear hospital to recover, and the medic treating her was a young man who had long admired her even before the war. He had even enlisted because of her. Seeing Makarov showing affection to the woman he loved, the medic felt a pang of heartache, but he respected Lyudmila's choice. But due to the urgent situation on the front, the captain had no choice but to return to the battlefield. After Lyudmila's condition improved, the medic took her aboard a medical ship. Suddenly, the air raid siren blared. Wounded soldiers on the deck fell into chaos. Unarmed, Lyudmila was overwhelmed with fear. Fortunately, Soviet pilots arrived just in time. Enemy aircraft were shut down. Lyudmila safely reached the convalescent camp. Every day, she stood on the bridge, waiting for the captain's return. Eventually, the main forces retreated from the front lines. She took off her military cap and straightened her uniform, but what she received was a familiar sniper rifle. With trembling hands, Lyudmila touched the weapon, her gaze now even more resolute. In the face of war, the life and death of two people seemed insignificant. Lyudmila asked the medic to sign a recovery certificate. Returning to the battlefield, she became even colder and more ruthless. During one mission, she deliberately avoided hitting the enemy's vital points, even flashing a smug smile. Her partner couldn't bear to watch and gave the enemy a swift end with a single shot. Lyudmila was furious, but her partner stopped her, urging her not to be blinded by hatred, because war isn't just about killing. The most important thing is to survive. With her partner's guidance, Lyudmila briefly stepped out from the shadow of war. Their teamwork became more seamless. In wide mountain valleys, in desolate snowy fields, they left behind trails of enemy kills, spending every day together. Feelings slowly blossomed between them. They eventually confirmed their relationship, but the good times didn't last. War had no intention of sparing this ill-fated couple. In an unexpected attack, her partner shielded Lyudmila and died under enemy artillery fire. Lyudmila, barely alive, was left with wounds all over her back. She was on the brink of death, utterly devastated, and had already lost the will to fight. But the battlefield needs heroes. Her remarkable achievements had long made her a role model for the army. Despite her battered and wounded body, the military forced her to take photos to boost morale. In front of the camera, she was already physically and mentally exhausted. Yet she still forced a heartbreaking smile. Lyudmila felt hopeless. She finally understood what the captain meant by stay alive, and the photo served its purpose. A top German sniper challenged her for her country and to avenge her lover. Lyudmila accepted the final battle. Their showdown was set in the wilderness, exposed to the wind and sun. Neither of them moved an inch. It was the unspoken code of true warriors. But as time passed, the wound on Lyudmila's back began to reopen. Still, she refused to give up. Instead, she made a desperate choice. She drew a cross on her forehead with her own blood. The Germans hesitated at the sight, but pulled their triggers at the same time. Both were hit. In the end, Lyudmila survived. She approached the enemy's body. His chest was filled with photos of his wife. She hated how war took away the lives of ordinary people. A small victory couldn't change the course of war. Sevastopol still couldn't escape its fate of falling. The Soviet army organized the evacuation of its soldiers. However, only those holding a ticket had the right to board the ship. Ironically, Lyudmila was not given such privilege. A large number of soldiers rushed to flee. The army doctor who loved her pushed through the crowd with her. When they reached the ship, he handed Lyudmila a few items. But when she turned around, he hand boarded because he had given his only ticket to the woman he loved, though the ones left behind still fought bravely for 250 days. Not a single soldier in Sevastopol ultimately survived. On the evacuation journey, Lyudmila opened the package the doctor had given her. Besides the precious ticket, what broke her heart even more was the engagement ring that felt like it came from another lifetime. The doctor had proven his love with his life. Later, Lyudmila Pavlyuchenko was awarded the title of Hero of the Soviet Union, and her story continued to be celebrated for generations.